Hey there folks, and welcome back to the Carpetania Campaign. Last time we consolidated our borders and began to address our economy and domestic situation. Now, despite my core doing fairly well, we have a city in Toletem, we have a navy that we're starting to produce. We do have some issues on the edges of our land, particularly over in Hibera, where the unhappiness is so severe that the UI has decided to glitch out and is showing them at maxed out happiness. Although, of course, if we look at it more closely, we can see they are not at maxed out happiness whatsoever. Things here are very dire. I need to start to take some drastic actions here, and I'm not entirely sure what that is going to necessarily entail. Moving tribesmen doesn't seem to be helping that much, so I think I will need to start to change the policy, possibly to something like harsh treatment. And I think at this point I'm not going to make these pops happy, because that's what local autonomy does, is it adds happiness to the pops. These pops are so furious that it's not going to help. So we need to start circumnavigating that and just trying to get population, or rather trying to get provincial loyalty directly through harsh treatment. This is going to damage the area, but at this point I'm willing to do whatever it takes to get Carpetania under control, because this is getting pretty extreme. So let's go ahead and switch this here. So that's going to stemmy the flow a little bit, but it's not going to fully solve the problem. The game no longer thinks I'm about to have a rebellion, so that's good. So that's cut down by about a 40% amount. So that's going to save things over here in the long term, but for the short term, we're definitely causing some damage here. Now, harsh treatment, I believe, is also going to cause some problems for the food here, because the output that this is reducing by that amount is also producing all the food, so we may have some starvation problems. At this point, I'm willing to essentially scorch Hibera to the ground in order to get these populations to stop causing problems. Not very democratic of me, I know, but at this point, we're going to have to make some tough sacrifices, including committing great atrocities against the completely unjustifiable discontent from the people that we've brutally conquered. So either way, let's go ahead and turn it down to speed. No, I'll keep it on speed 3 for now. And let's go ahead and resume. Make sure that I'm recording. Yep, I'm always worried about that, but yet to be an issue that ends up happening. So we're also building up our navy, and because we are at 1 ship per unit, I thought between episodes about how many ships I actually want to construct. I think I've ordered essentially 5 ships in total. All right, these are building straight to that. And I think what I'm going to do is potentially build 10 ships, but not more than that. I don't think I need to have my entire combined levy of 20 units on the ships at the same time. This will provide more of an option and a sort of secret weapon for the Tagus War, but I don't need to move my entire army along the river at any specific point, especially given that that army is going to be able to take on a kind of frontal battle with most of the enemy forces in any given spot. Now, keeping in mind as well that if I split my force and have some of them go on the boats, I need to be pretty precise about that, because my power for this war is definitely the size of my army, and if I start to split it apart for tactical reasons, I do start to lose that advantage. So I have to be very precise. But I will probably only build 10 ships at most, because I only imagine splitting my, let's see here, how much was it? 10,000? My 10,000 or so, yeah, I think it's 10,000. I only imagine splitting my force of 10,000 into 2 at the most, because after I start to split it further than that, individual armies from these different forces may start to present a problem. So I have to be precise about that. So we'll build 10 Liburnians in Toletem. I'll start to order a couple more as well. Let's see, I can do 2 more. So now we're at 2, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're at 7, so we need to build 3 more at some point. Arbitrary rewards. A message has been from our arbiter, Buit Aresis. It seems he has found some loopholes to increase our treasury or give us some more authority in civil matters. It comes a bit sudden, but in small degrees. It probably will not affect the state in a negative way. We should keep an eye on our arbiter and his arbitrary ways, though. Okay, oh, hello. So this is a pretty nice option. This is good too, but despite how much PI is important, I don't think I can justify. Yeah, I think a 10 to 1, that's, or even more than 10 to 1, a 14 to 1 trade-off, that is going to be, yeah, because it's not a 14-to-1 in gain per month. So this is definitely the better option. Now, gaining the corruption on these characters is a little irritating, but corruption, keeping in mind, is just going for officers of the state, is just going to affect their wage. If these were governors, I would not take this. Corruption on governors causes lots of problems, but Bracusa and Breet, they're both just officers. I guess Bracusa is technically a governor too, but he is a governor of our core region, so loyalty in our core region shouldn't be as serious of an issue. I guess I could technically check and make sure that in here there aren't any places with serious loyalty problems. No, not really. Yeah, things are under control around here. Even though I do have spots that have a lot of non-Carpetanians living within them, loyalty around here is fairly under control, enough that I've already switched this over to assimilation. So I think we'll go ahead and take the gold. That is going to help us with our fleet building. That is a sure thing. 1, 2, 3. All right. And now we can also build a building if we like. Now, Invictus, I think, rebalanced all of the buildings, so I've already looked at what forts and ports do in terms of the little bonuses they give. Keeping in mind that fortresses do cost a very hefty amount of manpower, so we should probably offset forts and cities with training camps if we are concerned about that. So aqueducts give us 4 population capacity. We're limited to 15 in any given territory, so let's keep that in mind. If we want to build the city of aqueducts, we may be limited in that sense. Don't think I'll need any aqueducts quite yet, but that is good to know. Granaries, I think this is pretty similar to what they do in the base game. Lots of food capacity. We are totally capped out on food right now. I'm also pouring some coffee in the background. I need to get some caffeine in me for this recording session. So granary would be certainly nice because it would boost up our food cap, but at the moment our food is fairly fine. Now notice right now we are on the tail end of winter, so we don't have as much food gain, but we haven't really had food problems. Once Toletum starts to grow more, it is starting to get a little bigger. We finally have a citizen, we have some freemen. This is our stacked up population promotion bonuses going on, producing these characters, or producing these types of pops from our tribesmen, most likely. So that's good to know. What was I looking at? So next is libraries. The research points, civ level, and pop conversion speed are all great, but again, not at the moment in Toletum super necessary. Marketplaces, they provide pop assimilation speed. I'm not sure if they do this in the base game, but I really like that they do this in Invictus, because they also give some trade route bonuses. So, but keeping in mind that this is only a % bonus and not a flat bonus. So once again, unless there's some other way to get flat assimilation speed sort of numbers working, aside from doing it through the policy, this shouldn't actually make a very big difference. You get a very, 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 very small like default assimilation speed that this would modify, but you want this to be modifying the 0.90 from this, I think. So this would be helpful in Toletum, which does actually have some cultural diversity. Let's see here. Yeah, you can see here just what the situation is here in Toletum. Actually, the Carpetanians are a minority here, so it would actually be handy here. Plus, we're trying to increase our trade routes here. So if we were to build 5 marketplaces, we'd get an extra trade route, and you're also getting a % bonus from that, so that would also stack up. And the civ level would help us too. Yeah, 39 right now, so this would actually get us to the cap we need. We still have to have 40 civ level to do that decision and the mission, but it would increase the cap enough to allow that. So Marketplace is definitely a strong contender. Training camps are great, and getting more manpower out of here would be handy as well. We are getting 2 manpower at the moment, but the city's not large enough, I think, to justify that. We need a lot more freemen and tribesmen, and I guess citizens as well. Yeah. Freemen produce a lot of manpower in Invictus. I know that that's the case in the base game, but I think Invictus super focuses freemen onto manpower production. Anyways, tax offices, they do what you'd expect. We don't really have a lot of tax gain from this particular city right now. Yeah, only 0.08, compared to the amount of money that's coming in from commerce. So you can just compare on the screen right here. And then down here, mills. Mills reduce the slave needed for surplus, which is great. If you want to have a city that has a luxury resource produce lots of extra copies, you can make it a mill city. So Invictus generally gives your cities some more options, like it does with settlements. Forums is going to be one way to get more freemen, so that could be good. Also more food, so that's kind of interesting. Court of Law does something pretty similar to the base game. It also improves your citizens. I think in the base game, libraries are your citizen building, but in this game, Court of Law is your citizen building. I think this makes more sense to me, and this makes Court of Laws interesting in that they make sense now both for your sort of more border cities where you need extraterritorial provincial loyalty, and also in your core cities where you need to have more citizens. So this is more of a late game focus for us. And then academies boost your nobles. I think this is what they did in the base game too, and they give a lot of civ bonuses. And then these other buildings all require different innovations, or rather inventions, which we don't have yet. So we'll look at those in the future. I think for now, we're going to keep it at 1 fort level because I don't want to reduce the manpower gain that much. And I don't think Toletem is going to be in danger of being sieged a whole lot necessarily. It will be for this upcoming war, but I don't think another fort will make a huge difference. That being said, if it does require 4,000 to siege a level 2 fort, it might be worth it just for that purpose, because this way the AI would need to really kind of coordinate in order to pull off a siege at Toletem. I could also spend this money on anything else too. It doesn't need to be on a building. These costs are really low. I think this was rebalanced by Invictus. The stuff down here is a bit more expensive, but I could also build a fort somewhere else. I have a couple spots I was waiting to fortify. Baia Superioris is one spot. This one I need to switch back over, but of course I can't right now. I don't think Baia Superioris is going to be in danger in this upcoming war. Let me think about this for a moment. What's my fort coverage look like? Yeah, no one's going to reach this place. Unless I have serious problems otherwise. I think I probably should build a building in Toletem. I need to start boosting Toletem a little bit. And the building I should probably build... I really want to get some more freemen in here. That's a sure thing. Freemen are really great for republics, it seems. This might be a little premature, though. Also, I need to keep in mind the fort infrastructure thing here. I don't want to go over the fort infrastructure. Again, I don't know how this is being calculated. So it says the first fort uses 3 points, and each subsequent fort uses 1 point. So it's acting as though I have 2 first forts, if that makes sense, because I have 2 forts and I have 6 points. So I'm not entirely sure what to make of that. But I want to keep the fort in Miacum, especially for the Tagus War, because of where it's located. I've been spending a lot of time thinking about this, and I apologize for the slow pace, but I'm trying to make sure when it comes to buildings, those are pretty consequential decisions. You got to really be quite careful with that. Keeping in mind as well that your food supply also boosts fort defense. Let's see. 120 months. I wonder if an increased food total boosts your food month amount. It seems like looking at these numbers, they might be interacting in that way, which means a granary might be a kind of backdoor defensiveness bonus, which could be great. Also, it would give me the civ level boost that I need. That being said, I'm not sure granary is the best call right now compared to the other options. I think a marketplace might make the most sense just to boost the assimilation speed. I really need to get more Carpetanians, and a lot of my very productive pop types, like freemen and even some tribesmen, aren't Carpetanian around here, so boosting the pop conversion could be quite good. Plus, marketplaces are types of buildings I'll probably want to stack here in my capital throughout the whole game, so this is a good long-term choice, compared to something like a training camp that's going to be better later on, or a granary, which might be better right now, but might not be as good later on. So let's build a marketplace just to get something going, and we'll save the rest of our money for other uses as they come up. I guess I could look up here and see if anything up here could be built in Waluka. In fact, I might switch this place to be assimilation too, and start to start to try and convert around here. These folks are all Celtiberian. Although this is actually a colony, so I should have a number of Carpetanians here. Oh yeah, I've got a couple Carpetanian nobles and citizens. Why are my Carpetanian nobles unhappy? You'd think they'd be pretty thrilled because they're the right culture and all that. What could be the problem here? Either way, this is a little risky, but I think I will play with fire. I mean, switching that won't matter at all, but this will have the effect of allowing me to start converting some of these these Celtiberian freemen. Let's build a marketplace up here. This is going to be a permanent city. I want to invest in my cities early on, and it's also already fortified, so that seems like the right call to me. All right. Ilir Cawonia is now disloyal. So because it's disloyal, I can't make any building decisions in the spot, which is fine. Wasn't planning on doing any building around there, but all the same, good for me to keep an eye on. So provinces, yes, I'm aware. Want to keep it from hitting 0 now. So again, I've probably been too concerned about the province becoming disloyal when it's really about the province becoming rebellious that I need to be more concerned about. At the end of the day, these disloyal provinces, I'm not doing anything with them anyways. I'm just holding them. Prosperity. Oh, hello. I will take the this, absolutely. National tax is great, but honestly, extra stability right now is absolutely critical. See how that affects things once it gets registered. Also save my PI from now on, let's not forget, for the various decisions I have to do. It's improving a little bit, but still not looking great. So, by the way, if you're wondering what I'm doing, just kind of waiting around, I'm waiting until the 1st of October, but really, realistically, I'm waiting until early summer of 475, because I'll get my armies organized, and then I'll go for the Tagus War that I've been sort of hinting at for such a long time. All right, we got ourselves a marketplace over here. Let's take a look at how this is affecting assimilation speed. 0.98 per month, that's pretty good. So that's going to be, let's see here, something like 100 months. So that's a good place to be at for the early game. I'm happy with that. Manpower is boosting up. Good stuff. Let's see here. And now our manpower cap is over 40%, so that's good. So we can just grow up there naturally. Happy with that. It's looking good. So far, no one's attacked me either, which I've been kind of waiting for someone to go for it, but AI seems pretty chill. Especially just given my power. I am the greatest tribe in Iberia at this point, so understandably, no one really wants to mess around with me. I think I've really kind of taken advantage of a bit of a cheesy situation by getting the 5 regions and having the largest army possible for a tribe. That was a pretty good call, I think. I'm glad I went for that idea. Alright. Also waiting for our ships to be done. These ships will be finished before the Tagus War. So while we're waiting, let's actually, because at this point I'm just waiting to build up political influence and money and stability. Aside from just checking every so often to see how things are going over here, these guys are actually pretty happy over here. You know, it's honestly these tribesmen that are in these settlements that seem to be causing an issue. I'm going to move some of these tribesmen around, honestly. These guys are Iberic, aren't they? Let's move a couple of these tribesmen out of the province. From Rubium? Oh, no, I can't because it's disloyal. That's right. Never mind. I guess that makes sense that that's something else you can't do while the province is disloyal. Fair enough. Spread of ideas. Through our trade connection with Hastaya, new ideas have spread to our people. All right. Happy with that. Things are beginning to stabilize, and up here, things are not beginning to stabilize. When are people leaving here? Outgoing migration. Can I speed this up somehow? Please. Just get out of here. When is this supposed to happen? Here we go. Okay, 75. That's going to help a little bit. At this point, I just need to evacuate people from this area. Now, if this place does rebel, it's not the end of the world. It's just one very, very small province, and it'd be very easy to fix, but it's more the principle of I don't want to have a rebellion in my land. Speaking of rebellion, the Tertullian Civil War ends, alright? Oh boy. The border war has gotten worse, it feels. How's Carthage doing? It's kind of hard to tell. How about over here? Oh boy. Oh! Hello, Gallic invasion. This is an interesting development. So the Senones have pulled off what the Tallantians couldn't pull off. That doesn't make me feel great, but fair enough. I mean, historically, Rome did have some trouble with the Senones much earlier in history than this point, so that is, I guess, fair enough. War exhaustion is fully done. Aggressive expansion is going down. Now, I should note that, again, aggressive expansion, the main issue with this is going to be the stability change. But at the moment, stability is doing okay. Charitable contributions. Okay, let's see here. Our officials in the province of Tertulia Occidentalis report that they have been approached by some of the petty landowners of the area with donations of grain and other fare for use of the state. Whether they were unable to sell it themselves or are just model citizens, extra grain is always useful, though it has not yet been satisfactorily decided how the windfall should be deployed. Okay, well, Sessitania could get some loyalty. That would be handy. This would upset Tertulia Occidentalis, but their loyalty is super fine. They get some food, too, so that's kind of good. And Lusitanian governor, her loyalty would be reduced a little bit, but your loyalty, which is lower, would be increased. This is pretty good. Could get some popularity from Bracusa, which is capped out, so that doesn't matter. We'd lose loyalty with that, the Lusitania governor. Get some tyranny, and yeah, that's not the good option. Or get some money. I think getting 10 loyalty with Sessitania, and also the 200 food, and the loyalty with their governor is worth it. So that's going to stave off the rebellion a little further. Just more time for them to migrate away. Just whatever we can think of to try and get this under control. Whew, all right. It's cloth. We'll trade for cloth. And you want glass. Yep. It's a lot of money right there. I also need an admiral for our classes. We have a couple good characters around here. Ooh, tough. That's kind of good. One less martial, but 5% ship damage taken could be good. That being... Oh, this character is also super corrupt. Let's assign you. I know I may not need to assign someone if I'm not going to... Like, because I don't have to pay her while she's in office, but I'm not going to have to pay her that much, so I think it's probably not the end of the universe. Let's see here. Where is she on here? Admiral. I pay her 0.09 per month. That's totally fine. And it's just nice to have her in position and secured. All right, let's tell this fleet to go with a full Liburnian situation here. I think... Let us go for... Tactical... For, what's this called? Harassment for now. Actually, hold on. Yeah, that's fine. Rome wants some stone. All right. That is fine. Ships are almost done. Pretty good. Let's check and see. Terraconus is in serious trouble right now, but not much I can do. Trying my best. Okay, this is at least stable. Honestly, I may switch these to be harsh treatment as well. They're getting pretty close now. That being said, I want to save the PI, so let's hold off. I keep spending PI on Terraconus trying to get it under control, but I just don't think it's I don't think we're gonna get there anytime soon. These provinces will end up becoming disloyal as long as they don't rebel. That's the thing I care more about at this point, is to prevent rebellion. My Classis is almost done. Stuff here is looking good. Okay, so if I were to declare war in about a year on Corencia, they'd bring in Calentiencia, they'd bring in Caluria, they'd bring in Ige, Detania, they'd bring in Deniquia, and they'd bring in Bletonicia. All right. So let's see here. A really good ally for this war would honestly be, again, Wakea, but they're not going to go for it because they are furious with me. Understandably so. I've already got Tagus. Or, I mean, I've already got Topolia. Tagus is the name of the river. Who do I bring in? Maybe Celtica? They aren't allied with anyone, or they aren't allied with Carencia, so I think Celtica should join if I call them in. That would really thoroughly distract Calentiencia, which would let me focus on the north side of the river, which could be handy. Alternatively, I could get someone like Arawia. That would help me with Ige. Actually, no, I could bring in Lanquienta. Yeah. Yeah, Bletonicia having joined the League is going to cause some trouble for me, because they just have so much territory. I think my goal here is to have allies who distract and kind of misdirect the enemy armies more than they help me with the fights. Because I can win the fights one-on-one, assuming that the enemy doesn't manage to gather all their forces. Let's also check and see who's region split. So, let's see. So I think all of these guys are all within this region, except for Deniquia, who is only in the Galatia region, but everybody else is in the Lusitanian region. So this is going to be a huge Lusitanian war. Yeah, there's no region splits. Yeah, even this is in Lusitania, so no region splits that I can see that would make a difference in this war. Fortunately, there are factions that are from different regions, but they're not split between them. So every faction should have a 2,000 stack. I mean, split between 3 forces, so 2,000 in total tribal army, and it'd be against 5 factions. No, it'd be against 6 factions, because Carencia is also part. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Looking at the lay of the land, I think Lanquienta is going to be the right ally for this purpose. They are allied with Bletonicia, but if they're allied with me and Bletonicia is part of the League, me attacking Carencia shouldn't allow them to get called in. If I was attacking Bletonicia directly, then they could get called in. So this should be fine. They should break their alliance with Bletonicia. I'm just trying to remember, because the base game, I always struggle to remember how it works, and I think in Weakness may have changed this, but I think if you are allied to somebody who's a League partner of a war target, the League call-in is different from the Alliance call-in, because if you're allied to somebody who is an ally of somebody who's a war target, you can't get called in. And I think it's the same with League partners, so let's roll the dice on that and offer an alliance to Lanquienta. Even if they don't end up being able to get called in somehow, I can just delay the war and find someone else who can get called in. Because once I go to the war screen, if I click... In fact, I can just do that right now. So let's go ahead, and we're not going to declare the war right now, obviously. So they wouldn't do it, because they have low opinion of me. Okay, that's interesting. What's the issue here? Different culture? Really? That's enough? All right. I'm going to have to bribe them and boost up my relationship with them, I think. Or maybe that'll update after a monthly tick. So we'll see what happens with that. But I'm not concerned that that's going to be a huge issue. Also, I will have to raise my my naval maintenance temporarily until the Calentiencia fleet is destroyed. Nobody else who's going to be in the war has a navy on this river, or actually at all, except for Calentiencia. So if I can rush to get their fleet out of the port, I may drop off people at wherever their fleet's located to get their fleet, to occupy the location, get their fleet out in the river, destroy the fleet, so I can then go ahead and lower the maintenance, because after that I don't need the maintenance on my ships for any reason, because I'll just be using them for transport purposes. Alright, I think that's probably the goal. This is finally starting to settle down a little bit. That's good. How about over here? Not so much. Alright, on this monthly tick, let's see now what these guys have to say about that whole situation. Now they're thrilled with me. Okay, so I think I just need to wait a month for it to update. So yeah, now they're both going to join. That's what I thought would happen. It was just because I did it on the first of the month. They were kind of weird. All right, let's get our forces ready to go at this point. Let's raise up our army maintenance. I think because this is just integrated culture happiness, I think I will go for increased pay, just because this is a pretty huge war and I don't really want to mess around with anything going wrong. We're at about 3,000 manpower. This is about as much manpower as I can stand waiting for at this point. Boost up our fleet maintenance. Not going to increase this because this naval maintenance cost is absolutely outrageous. 50% for 5% morale of navies. Not worth it in almost any circumstance. I wouldn't ever recommend this. Turn our forts on, and with that, get our levies going. Alright, so let's be pretty precise about this. We're trying to get everyone to Toletum. Here, and then what's the fastest way? Probably from here. Alright, you can see just from how much of that was, like, you can really tell just how much of my nation is Tarraconensis land, the land that's having the most trouble right now. Grab all these guys, tell them to head to Toletum. There we go. Alright. March to the Tagus War has begun. Long awaited. I'm making a lot of these episodes way in advance. I don't know if you can tell, but I don't know yet what people are going to say in the comments about my plans to fight the Tagus League. Hopefully people are cheering me on and are excited about that. Alright, just have some more coffee for this. Now I should note that what I'll probably do is declare the war on November 1st, because I want a monthly tick to get my increased morale from my omen going. Scandal. Scandal is unfortunately part of an average day in the Carpetanian clan council. Ordinarily, we would simply ignore such petty squabbles. However, on this occasion, the esteemed Inimarchus Arosis was found in flagrante delicto with his lover, Maguna Galana, by his spouse, Bodokakia Galba. Bodokakia Galba, the spouse, overcome with despair, has appealed to the clan council to have Inimicus Arosis, who is the wise one, stripped of office. He's super good at being the wise one, though. This is none of our business. I don't want to have government turnover at the moment. Got other stuff to worry about. What's our weight like in Toletum? Oh, no. I'm noticing that event in the corner. Okay, we have a high supply limit. We've been informed that Imkila Induta was found brutally murdered in her home just last night. The investigators have... Oh no, what's it going to say this time? The investigators have reported that a bare hands was used in the crime. A device known to be favored by Chiomara. Famously, no one before has ever used a bare hands except for this person. Yes. Case closed. Okay. Isn't this the bodyguard? Wait, why is it such a huge deal if she's killing people with her bare hands? Isn't that her job? Oh, man. Okay. Well, actually, her loyalty's pretty good. Is this going to actually fire her, though, from being the bodyguard? It doesn't. Okay, good. Because her loyalty was fine. She gives us a lot of manpower recovery speed. Bodyguard's a really important position for tribes. Alright, so let's go ahead and throw you in there. Alright, it's fine with me. Lost some, what's it called? Statesmanship? Hold on. What's the name for it? Statesmanship. Yeah, that's what it's called. That's totally fine, though. He is almost disloyal, but not quite. Alright. Now we got the whole squad set up here. Let's figure out what we're going to do in terms of movement. Now, when I declare war on Corencia, let's double check again. So they're going to call in these guys, sorry, I guess I should say, Egatitania, Bletonicia, Caluria, Calentiensia, and Uniquia. And then I bring in these guys here. So the goal here with these allies is that Calentiensia and Bletonicia and hopefully Egatitania are all distracted by my allies having land next to them that they can focus on, which limits the front of this war and lets me fight a war where they're fighting a war on two fronts, or a war on one front. My goals are probably to rush for Segovia and Wadua, and that's my land goals. I could also go for Bucarica, which would be very strategically helpful given that the rivers are blocking everything. So that could be handy. And I think what I should do, because I could send a strike force on the river for some sort of action. Let's see. The river strike force could, for example, get to Watonia Inferioris, where normally they couldn't reach it because of Wadua and other stuff that's in the way. The other thing that they can do is we could set up the boats on this tile right here, and let me close this. And they could come off the boats, because we got to keep in mind that I think, and I don't know if in Week Change this is, traveling on and off of riverboats is super fast. It's a couple days at most. So they could very easily come in, start sieging Bucarica from the ocean, or from the river, and then jump back on the riverboats really fast when they need to move. Which means we can send a smaller force to go do that. That's a bit more risky because we can move them. I think what we should do, although actually we should also go ahead, here's what we should do. We should send what I need to do is, honestly, I think the top priority is actually destroying the very small Calentiensian Navy. Here's the reason why I want to focus on this. If I leave this Navy alive and I turn my Navy maintenance off because I don't need it, they might be able to kill a ship or two in the fight that would happen. And I just feel like that's not justifiable to allow the chance for that. I don't need my Navy to get super damaged, because even two ships with the full morale fighting a larger Navy with no morale could cause some damage. So I'd rather just snipe these ships really quick and then safely turn my Navy maintenance off to save a lot of money. So I think what I should do is send a strike force on the river to go and occupy these two tiles, or actually whichever tile. Maybe I should go look right now. Let's go investigate which tile the Navy for this, for Calentiensia is located upon. And in the meanwhile, while that's getting set up, where should my army be split off to? I think what I should do is focus on stuff that won't draw away folks like Bletonicia. Because if I attack Segovia, there's a good chance Bletonicia will go for that instead of going for Lanquientia. Because I think the AI prioritizes defensive maneuvers over offensive maneuvers. So what I should do is go for probably Watonia, or go for Wadua, and go for let's see here, Wadua and Bucarica, which are the furthest away from folks like Egatitania and Bletonicia. At the same time, my fort coverage in Luca, Miacum, and Toletum should firmly present a wall of zone of control that no one can move through without sieging the stuff down. Now, if they get really lucky sieges, I may be in trouble, because they can then roam in further. But I also have the fort in Segontia as kind of a backup thing, and the fort in Pons Rugio may help as well. Not having a fort in Baia Superior shouldn't be a huge issue, but we'll see what ends up happening. And then down here, I don't really expect this front to have a lot of action, because the river here blocks everything, but I guess they could walk over the crossing here. But these forts here should block them if they do try that. So I think that's probably my best call. I'm going to go for Wadua and go for Bucarica, because this is an important thing to control, since they can move down through here, and if I control this, then we're in the clear. So I'm going to send an army into Bucarica. Actually, hold on. So in that case, having the boats drop people off to occupy the location to get the Navy out, because once the dock settlement is occupied, the Navy gets kicked out into the river, and then my boats snipe that Navy. And then after that, I can turn my naval maintenance off, and then I can just use the boats as a way to cross the river wherever I want to. I think what I should do after that point is set up the boats. Let's see here. set up the boats in this tile or this tile, and I can use them to move a force into Watonia Inferiores or into Wadua and back and forth as needed. So here's what I think I'll do. I'm going to send my entire army into Bucarica at the start of the war to try and snipe the Calentiensia army. No, I'm going to send, let's see here, 6,000? 65,000? Let me think about this. I'm going to send, let's see. Because the thing is, they're not going to all spawn in Bucarica. They're going to spawn probably also in Tergalium or in Bruto Briga. I think I'm going to send 6,000 into Bucarica, and then 4,000 will be on the boats. So that's going to require... So 4,000 would be 8. So I need at least 8 ships. So 8 units, I mean. So 8 ships. I have 10 ships. That's totally fine. 6,000 will walk into Bucarica by land, and then 4,000 will go by boat, get dropped off in wherever their navy's located, occupy it, and probably kill whoever's there. So we'll take a couple losses from that landing attack, but it may not be able to be helped. Get their navy out, kill the navy, turn our naval maintenance off, and then I think what I'll do after that is actually set up a skeleton siege for a moment and actually reset the siege to be happening from the movement point on the river. So what I'll do is I'll have my forces relocate from Bucarica into the riverboats, which I think they can do from a siege, and then move back over here, keeping a skeleton crew to keep the siege locked in place, so that if I need to leave the area really quickly, I'm leaving onto the river, which allows for much more mobility. So we got to use the river as much as possible in this war. So I think that's going to be the plan. All right, got that figured out. So let's organize our 2 teams right now, because once we get this the enemy fleet destroyed, we don't need to split our forces again right away. Because I think what I'll do at that point is I'll have just a, maybe like a 2,500 stack on Bucarica, and then the rest of them I'll relocate up here to start working on Watonia Inferioris and Wadua. Because the force by Wadua can also react to a siege at Miacum really easily, so that should be fine. Okay. That being said, let's organize into 2 groups, a 6,000 stack and a, make sure we're all at full food capacity, yep, and a 4,000 stack. Yeah, okay. You are going to lead the 6,000 stack. Put you on skirmishing. All right. This is kind of hard to do. Sorry. There's the Carpetania. Make sure I deselect them. All right. All right, you're gonna go with them. I'm gonna try and send. Let's see. I have a lot of cavalry. All right. You stay. You stay. You stay, and you stay, and the rest of you go with him. All right, we've got our team set up. Get them moving, and then you guys are going to get into the right tactics. Put you on development. Put you on deception. Put you on skirmishing. Put you on skirmishing as well. All right. Oh, the morale's already at full. Is it because I raised them while I already had... Okay, that's fine. Doesn't matter. Small micro missile. Okay, so their navy is in Tergalium. So what I'm going to do is before... Actually, will my morale auto-update? I'm not entirely sure. I think I'll do it on October 1st, actually, if I'm in position by that point. So what I'm going to do is send you back and pick these guys up. Because I can get them on the ships right now. I just don't want to have them be on the ships for too long. So I think, I guess September. So September 1st, I'll put them on the ships and send them over. So we're going to land in Tergalium instantly. Maybe even before they raise their levy there, because the AI doesn't raise their levy as soon as the monthly tick happens. Or as soon as the war is declared, I mean. they may delay slightly. All right, so these guys are all in the right spot. So let's go through them and make sure their tactics are set correctly. So deception, and attach, envelopment. But you know, yeah, and attach. There's not a lot of infantry in this force, so I gotta be precise here. Skirmishing, attach, deception, attach. Oh yeah, okay, and let's also go through. I don't think I've been doing this. Actually, does this part matter? Hold on. Yeah, okay, do it like this. This probably doesn't matter, actually, because these forces are all going to move together. They're all going to attack together, I mean. I'm not going to worry about that part. I haven't been worried about that so far. It shouldn't matter. All right. So much going on. So much prep to do for this war. Holy moly. How are things looking here? It's getting a little better, but it is definitely still looking pretty grim. Okay. I don't want these guys to run out of food. Let's go ahead and get these guys on the boats. Let's do them one by one because they're all split. Tribal army mechanics. Gotta love them. Alright. Head over here. I think this is the move I should take. Yeah. Okay. And now we've got our allies figured out. Here we go. Last month before the Tagus War happens. Oh, I'm excited. Rome went stone. Yep. That is fine with me. Here we go. So much is about to happen on this monthly tick. All right. Omen, the deity of war, I call upon you. Not much of an omen boost because of our bad. Actually, it's because of just the choices we've made. Well, we live with our choices. Decisions have been made. I'm going for it. That may hurt our stabilization goals, but oh well. It is what it is. Also, let's not forget that I can actually go ahead and do another war council. May as well, right? Let's see what we get. After traveling for many days, the proud members of the Carpetanian War Council are gathered together in Toletum, ready to discuss the waging of war on new foes. Hunched over the broad table, Ife, an orator and paragon of the people, Inamarchus, a down-to-earth and well-respected advisor, and Beoessus, an advisor of uncertain standing, opine loudly on their chosen course of action. As promising and flawed arguments are proffered on all sides, the status quo descends eventually. Inamarchus and Beoessus agree on the necessity of curbing the Thermodygian threat, whereas Ife opines that her preferences lie in the plenteous lands of Cartubia. It is up to us to determine the best course of action. Okay, so we do have claims on Cartubia from our mission, or at least we did. I think we still keep these claims, don't we? Yeah, we still have the claims. We can't get more claims easily now. As opposed to Thermodygia, who is where? Thermodygia, up there. Well, Thermodygia would be a different direction for sure. Let me think about this for a moment. Thermodygia, this would allow us to start to, hold on. No, actually, they were in the next province over anyways. Yeah, because we're in Wicea Meridionalis, they're in Wicea Septentrionalis, right? Yeah. This would allow us to push further into Galatia. As opposed to Cartubia, Lobetania. Well, we have claims on Cartubia in Terdulia Orientalis, so a Lobetanian claim wouldn't help. I think I will go for Thermodygia, just because I don't have claims on them yet. I don't need more claims on Cartubia. If I have a claim on somebody, I don't need more claims for any reason. At least not unless I guess it would reduce aggressive expansion, but it's not that much more land. Like, they only control a little tiny bit of Lobetania, so it's not a huge deal. These outcomes are great. Beoessus getting loyalty is actually pretty good, so let's go for that. All right. Okay. Here we go. I think we are in position forces are set up. I guess we could wait 1 month to get maxed out morale, but I think I will just go for it, honestly. Yeah, because I don't want to wait on the boats for a super long time. These guys are going to have attrition, and they're going to run out of food if we do that. So let's declare the war. Call in Topolia and Lancantia, my definitely very valued and not at all pragmatically selected tribal allies, to take Wettonia Meridionalis. The Tagus War has begun. The Celt-Iberian local powers of Corencia, Igaditania, Bletonicia, Caluria, Calantiancia, and Diniquia have all rallied together to defend in this war. And we're going to have to wait for next episode to see where it starts. So thank you all so much for watching. Sorry to leave you off on a cliffhanger, but the Tagus War is probably going to take a full episode or even multiple episodes, and I don't want to start rushing here at the end of this episode as we are at the 50-minute mark. So thank you all so much for watching. Hope that you enjoyed, and apologies for the cliffhanger ending. But check back in a couple days for the beginning of the long-awaited Tagus War. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.